And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the recap. Michael D'Angelo, joined once again by my partner in crime, El Comandante Daryl Ortiz. Thank you for covering last week. We had a nice little bout of food poisoning in the D'Angelo household. So I really appreciate you covering for me, Big D. It was a rough
Of
weekend.
course, no problem at all. I'm good. I'm happy to cover. You've been covering my back as well. So, like I said, teamwork makes the dream work. We are good to go. But now we are back at full force, ready
Full
to
speed
upset some
ahead.
people.
I know, right? To tick some people off. Speaking of being ticked off, SummerSlam Night 1 is in the bag. A mixed bag. So this is, for me, it was kind of a strange event. It was a little underwhelming in many ways. We didn't see any title changes at all on Night 1, which now makes me kind of speculate about Night 2 and if are we going to see Seth Rollins go over Roman Reigns. I feel like the likelihood is there now. It's probably pretty likely based off of what we saw happen on Night 1. But we'll run from the beginning. I was a little surprised too that this was the opening match. It was Io Sky versus Liv Morgan.
I thought it was going to
I
be
did
Brock Lesnar and Obafemi. I
and
thought I missed
Obafemi.
something. I was like, hold
Yeah,
up. What
I thought it
happened?
was too. And I was like, I thought that was going to be like the one they were going to show on ESPN, and that it was going to be done to kind of bring in more of the casual fan because they've been talking about it a lot on ESPN. They've been doing all this other stuff, and it turned out that was the main event, which was interesting that they put that in that slot. They didn't have the World Championship or the WWE Championship in the main event slot. So the structure of the card was a little strange, but we got the women's World Championship match, Io versus Liv. I was bummed and disappointed because Io did not win here.
Same. I
Liv
predicted
Morgan
EO
was
to win
saying,
because I figured it was her time. They're going to give her an opportunity to shine. And lo and behold, we did not have that happen. Lots of shenanigans.
no, lots of shenanigans. And it was the same thing. It was the Judgment Day shenanigans, Raquel Rodriguez intervening with an assist, and then Liv Morgan kind of hit a couple of sequences of a couple. Or how did that sequence go at the end? Because she hit the Oblivion twice. It was like Oblivion, and then followed by another move, which I can't remember. It's like one of her signature moves, and then followed by a second Oblivion. And so
Wasn't
at
it the
that
code
point, you're like, the
breaker?
match is
And she
over.
fell into the ropes and then she
Yeah,
hit
I
the
think it was the
oblivion
code
or
breaker.
something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it was Oblivion, code breaker, Oblivion. And then as soon as that sequence, it's like, it's over. And Liv Morgan won. And
Yeah.
yeah, like no payoff here.
No, and
That's the way it felt to
again,
me.
I think they're clearly gonna push her for the 1,000 days as champion because
Yeah,
she has a music video, guys.
I know. And
She has a music
lip
career to
syncing her
think of.
travel, travel on the way out to the ring. I hate that song so much. It's like the worst.
I don't mind it. It's just I I don't mind when wrestlers venture into other venues. Obviously, you have the movie piece and now the music piece, but it's just I
I
don't
mean, John Cena
understand.
did do a rap album, so
He did. He did. But and we with all the WWE the albums or WWF the albums.
yeah,
But those are great.
WWE the Music Volume 3, WWF the Music, and
Hey,
like
but you know what?
I used to get those all the time. I got those CDs.
Nothing tops Macho Man Randy Savage, Be a Manhole.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's not the first, won't be the last. I just wasn't a huge fan of it, and I wasn't a huge
So
fan of
great.
this. I felt poor Io deserved better on this one, and that's how
Yeah.
we opened the show.
It's crazy because they took away her friend. I mean, they're really pushing the whole ankle deal with her, which is weird because technically Liv Morgan was still cursed by Danhausen, unless I missed something on SmackDown. But I thought she
Yeah,
was still cursed by
she
Danhausen.
is. Like
So
she hasn't been uncursed, and Danhausen's gonna wrestle who
Dom
tonight?
tonight.
Dom. Yeah, so he's gonna wrestle Dom. So that whole thing is still in play. So I was a little surprised that Liv didn't fall victim to the curse because
I
I felt
think
like
creative
unless she got
forgot she was
uncursed, that was
cursed.
it.
So,
Yeah, probably.
but
And then
well,
after this, yeah, after this we got Bloodline versus Solo, Sokoa, LA Knight, and Royce Keys. This one, this one was a match that I just didn't really care about heading into it anyway, because like I was like, there's not going to be a huge payoff from this. I'm relieved at least LA Knight didn't lose this one. Like he got the win, he got the pin for his team, but it was just a little anticlimactic of okay, now where do we all go from here? Solo
yeah,
sounds like is going to be a face moving forward, kind of be a
which
good
is a
guy.
good move. Face
Yeah,
solo is really good. So I'm liking it. But and even at the end, you could tell LA Knight was a little skeptical to shake his hand. Solo was there, all smiles, like I told you, like we're good. And there is
yeah.
still hesitant, but I don't know what's going to become of Solo. But I feel like they're probably going to keep him as a face because he's so over with the fans as a face right now. I think more
Yeah.
over than he was as a heel. So I think they're gonna try and keep him as a face.
Yeah, and I think it'd be a good change for him, and I think the crowd's accepting him more now as a face. So, and it'll be interesting too. Like since this felt like it was kind of a hard stop for this rivalry. Like, okay, we're done. What do they do with LA Knight now? Which to what I would say now, Seth Rollins does win the title. Seth Rollins already promised LA Knight that if he won, that he was going to be his like next title
Yeah,
defense. So I would
should be
presume
nice.
that's why they kind of cleaned it and said, okay, here's a stepping off point for you to move on from the bloodline and move into this one. And now Seth Rollins is the champion. So that would be nice. It would only be
Yeah.
nice if they allowed LA Knight to win, but there's no way they would take the title off of Seth that fast. So it's kind of like,
Again, no,
we'll see.
unless he gets hurt again, but I don't think so. I think who knows? What if they make it like because isn't Finn Balor number one contender too?
Well, they're doing the number one contender match with him and Sami Zayn tonight,
Oh,
right?
that's right. That's right.
So that's
It's
number
gonna
one
be a fatal
contender
four way.
for WWE for the WWE championships. As number one contender and it was funny because they said that like with CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, whoever wins already has their next match lined up. And then it was like, huh, so they're just done with each other. You're going to drop it because you're already having a number one contender the next night. And we'll obviously talk about what happened there because clearly they already lined up who Cody Rhodes' next feud is going to be with, quite clearly. But before we get to that, we had my match of the night, and my match of the night for the reasons of this was the only match that I was really kind of emotionally and personally invested in was Gunther versus Nick Aldis. And it was I think it's the fact that the lead up to this, there was like a genuine story being told about Nick Aldis and the fact that he came in, he finally got his opportunity with WWE, and they brought him in as a producer, and then they made him this general manager role, and he's never had the opportunity to actually wrestle, and he's had this fantastic career in TNA and on the independent circuit, and he was NWA heavyweight champion. So it's like he's got this great resume, and they were doing nothing with him, not allowing him to wrestle. And then he gets this opportunity here, and then you had the CVV interview, which is the first time when I don't know if you saw that, Daryl, is
Yeah,
it
I
came
did.
out a couple of days before, and when he asked him about SummerSlam, and you could see how emotional he was and how much pressure he put on himself, and he like started to cry, and he's like, "This is my one shot," and I was like, "Oh man, I really want him to do well here." And so I was
Yeah,
really emotionally invested in it. And it came from
yeah,
a real place and a genuine place. So I was amped up. He looked like $1,000,000. Like he looked fantastic. Like his physique is phenomenal. He's in great shape. You could tell he was nervous at the beginning.
yeah.
Like he looked a
Naturally, I mean, why wouldn't you
little.
be 3 years off the
Yeah.
ring? Like, yeah,
Yeah, 3 years out of the ring, and you're doing this at SummerSlam, which is a huge deal. And like I know he had put a lot of pressure on himself, but like as the match went on, he eased into it. He looked good. Gunther, I thought, was the perfect opponent for him to work with because Gunther can make a lot of people look good, and he doesn't need someone to make him look good. But he's had a long layoff, and he was going to
I'm
be
about to say
nervous.
it helps. It helps.
One
It's like
hundred
a
percent.
fail safe. You know what I mean? So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you. This was my match of the night as well. I think this match was great. I'm sad that Nick Aldis didn't win. I think a lot of the crowd also
Yeah.
agreed in that. A lot of the comments and all the social media posts are like that was a disappointment to not let Aldis win. But one
Yeah.
more important thing is that Triple H gave him his job back as GM.
As
So
GM. Yeah.
there has to be more to this story. I feel I think he kind of earned his dignity back in the locker room, so to speak, right? And with
Yeah.
Gunther, even Gunther, like kind of saying like, "Oh, that was harder than I thought it was going to be," like kind of giving him his kudos. So maybe there's going to be a newfound respect for him as an authority figure. But I got caught up in the story and the emotions, and
Uh-huh.
definitely wanted Nick Aldis to have his opportunity because he had his moment in TNA, had his moment in NWA, and this is just the rightful next step in my opinion. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I mean, hopefully this leads to more for him. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I hope so because he looked great in the ring. I agree with you. He came in great shape, ready to go. There's a lot of speculation as to how he was going to come out, if he was going to come out as Nick Aldis or as Magnus.
Yes.
Those of us
Yeah.
that
I'm glad
going
he
way
came out as
back,
Nick Aldis. Yeah.
he
I'm
was
I'm
Nick
glad he came
Aldis.
out, and he came out to Oasis. Like it was just like everything about it was just cool. And it was like, wow, I really feel happy for this guy. And he got the "You Deserve It" chance from like I from my perspective, I thought he got the biggest reactions in his match of anybody the whole night. and that's including the main event. I thought the crowd reacted to him so much more. He was the most over person with that crowd. And then afterwards, they gave him the kudos and the "you deserve it" chance. And Mickey James and his son, their son, came down. And they had that nice moment in the ring with the family at the end. And I just, yeah, I'm the same way. I wish he would have won. I wish they would have let him lock in the clover leaf and get the win. And he locked it in, and of course Gunther got away. And even the tap happened kind of quickly on the
Yeah.
rear naked choke. But for me, it's going to be a bummer if this is it, because I feel like
Yeah.
he's a great GM. I actually really like Nick Aldis as a GM, but
Yeah.
I think he's got so much more to give as an in-ring competitor right now. And that's a small window at his age. So it's like, just let him have a run. Put a title on him. Doesn't have to be the world title. Put a title on him. Let him have a
US
run.
title, Intercontinental.
Yeah, let him do US title, Intercontinental title, something. And you can bring back Kevin Owens and make Kevin Owens a GM while he's recovering, because he's not been cleared yet. And Kevin Owens would do great as like a SmackDown GM figure.
I would love
He'd be fine.
Kevin Owens as a GM. That would be so great.
So, and it gives him something to do while he's coming back. And then it allows, Nick Aldis to have a run. And then Nick, once Kevin can come back, then Nick could come back as the GM once he's kind of finished his run, depending on how long it takes Kevin to recover. Like, you can do some things there. But it just felt like it was, Triple H was like, I've never say never. But I'm like, this feels like the end. Like the way that he kind of was non-committal about it. So, but hats off to Nick Aldis. That guy, from my perspective, he made the most out of that opportunity. And, he said, I hope I don't let anybody down. I hope I don't let the fans down. Nick Aldis, I know you're not watching, but you didn't let anybody down, man. You crushed it. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I agree.
Going from that to Brie Bella and Paige and Nikki Bella versus Fatal Influence, like that, this is a real palate cleanser after the Nick Aldis match. It was fine. This was one that I just wasn't emotionally invested in either.
No.
And of course, JC Jane got the win for Fatal Influence. It was a 6-woman match. No titles were on the line, which also no tag titles on the line for either any brand, for men's or women's, for SummerSlam.
That's true.
Just goes to show WWE hates tag teams and hates the tag team titles, because none of them are being featured on 2 days. You have 2 days worth of matches. It's a 2-day event. You don't have a single tag title match on the cards, which is wild. But I think you had mentioned this, like the big point of this match was Brie and Nikki just turning on Paige and beating her up, which they did. They did the heel turn, and I think you had called that, correct? I wanted to say you're like, they were setting this up. I don't know if you mentioned it last week.
So I was thinking that hold up, I have my notes here. So I had it all, the schedules all discombobulated and whatnot, unfortunately. But yeah, I actually thought that the Bellas and Paige were going to win. I thought Nikki was going to pin JC Jane, but instead we had Nikki turn on Paige. And I do want to say that she said the dumbest thing post-match when she was walking out. She says, "Nobody replaces me." And I'm like, okay, first of all, ask John Cena. Second of all, I think it's dumb that she says that, because she said she's the one that called in the favor.
Yeah.
If you're the one that called in the favor, but nobody replaces you, like, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. Like, hit yourself.
Look in the mirror, kid. You're the one who did it. But this goes back to WWE creative forgetting how they set this up originally.
And to be honest, I don't think anybody cared about the heel turn, because people like Paige, but I don't think anybody really cared too much about this. I feel, unfortunately, Fatal Influence, of course, they were able to win and get the rub and, be elevated in that aspect, because now they could say they defeated legends and whatnot. However, that's all it did was push them up a little bit. And then, because you're talking about a tag team that seldomly wrestled. There was a point where they were wrestling a little more consistently, but in the very beginning, they weren't doing anything. And now you have a returning Nikki who just wants something to do now, because she just saw her sister doing stuff. So now she wants in. So that's going to be the story, Nikki and Paige. Because who else is Paige going to have get her back? Maybe a returning Rhea. I don't know if they would do that to Rhea. I hope not. But it's just, because Rhea's out for a while actually. But even then, it's like
for a while.
But then she's going to be tied up with the titles, with the main title.
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
heavyweight title.
yeah,
So
like with because
I
we've
don't.
got the women's interim title match today,
Yeah,
so she's gonna have a date with whoever that person is. No, no, it's funny. Just as a side note on Rhea Ripley, because they had put like posted on her, I think her Instagram saying that Rhea Ripley is ready for SummerSlam, and they show her like in the gym and she's all ripped up, and I'm thinking, ready for what? To watch as a spectator because she's not competing. Like, what do you mean she's ready for SummerSlam? So it was such a weird kind of ill-timed
yeah, that is weird.
post. So I guess maybe she's gonna be ringside to see who wins the other one, and she's gonna hang out and sign autographs. But she clearly ain't ready for SummerSlam. And this, yeah, I'm not really excited to see what happens with Brie and Nikki and Paige going forward. I mean, Paige, I wish they'd just do something else with her, but I don't want to see her sidelined with the rivalry between her and Nikki
Yeah,
Bella
they need to
for
let her
years with
wrestle.
both of them. Yeah. Let her go compete as a singles competitor. But yeah, and then after this we had Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk in the co-main event, I guess we'll call it. Cody came out to like the Street Fighter theme for Gaia. Like this is a little
It was
like
pretty cool.
mm,
I
I
liked
don't
it.
know.
I
Like
it's hokey,
well,
but
because it
I enjoyed
started
it.
out, it felt a little hokey, and then his like I wish he had just come out to that whole theme and didn't segue back to his theme because he came
Well,
up,
because he
his
got to
theme
do the
was on.
whoa. He has to
Well,
do
he's
the
got to do
whoa. They
that.
paid for pyro.
Well, what would have been cooler is if they did his entrance theme as like a
But like
16
the
bit,
8-bit. Mhm.
yeah, 8
Or
bit,
16
16
bit. Yeah,
bit,
sorry.
like take that type of sound and do a version of it. And so you do the Guile theme, and then you do like the 16-bit Street Fighter version of Cody's current song. That would have been cool. And then he could still do the woes and still do the pyro. But it was like, all right, fine. They had the match was good. You had some big spot attempts. You had CM Punk trying to do the flying elbow to Cody on the announce table, but like totally missed and just put himself through the table. It was fine. The big thing here was Randy Orton just running out of the crowd. Randy Orton's back and hitting the RKO on Cody, so this is what was odd about that sequence. So he hits the RKO, and then Cody's kind of laying in the ring for a while, and CM Punk never saw it. And then
Mhm.
CM Punk kind of slowly gets in the ring. Like there was a lot of recovery time for Cody. Still manages to hit the GTS, and then he's going to go for the pin, and it was the longest count. I don't know if you noticed that. I was like, what is going on? Like Charles Robinson did this one, and then he goes two. It was almost like a slow count, like a heel would do. And then he did the
Yeah.
three, and then he got counted out. I was like, I thought Cody was going to count out because the count was so long. And I'm thinking, wait, that's all it took, an RKO, and then a long rest break, and then one GTS, and then a really long count, and Cody still couldn't kick out of it. So the finish was a little funky for me. And CM Punk ended up retaining, and clearly this just segues. Now CM Punk is going to face the winner of Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn, which I hope is Finn Balor. But
I hope it
I'm
is
sure
Finn
Sami
Balor.
Zayn
Like,
will win. I hope it's Finn Balor. Go ahead.
yeah. But okay, the match itself, though, prior to the shenanigans at the end, I feel was
Yeah.
great. This was
Yeah.
actually
It
a
was.
well wrestled match. There was a lot of back and forth. I feel Dusty would have been proud. This was
Yeah.
really good. The reverse figure four, like just everything. Both men getting frustrated with each other and trying to, hit their moves and just, it was great up until the end, unfortunately. And I love Randy Orton, but I, I feel like this could have done without. Maybe save him for the Raw after, or the SmackDown after. Sorry, the SmackDown where Cody comes out to like talk about whatever, and Randy Orton comes out and takes him out. Then okay, cool. But I mean, I get it. But now we know we got to occupy Cody, so Cody's going to be feuding with Randy Orton, which there's always been a story there because they were tag team partners at one point. They worked together. Blah blah blah. But now you have an opportunity to do something greater and have Finn Balor take the title off of CM Punk. And I'm hoping that happens because that is long overdue for Finn Balor, first of all. And I think
Oh yeah.
CM Punk has been doing better. I'll give him his kudos. He's been doing a lot better with his in-ring performance and his, I mean, of course, his promo works top notch as always. But I feel like this would be a great opportunity because I don't think they've really ever faced each other, CM Punk
Well,
and
remember
Finn Balor.
remember they had the match in Ireland like recently. Remember they did
No, but
that
I mean
one.
like
It was
as Demon King,
as what? Oh, as
as
Demon
the
King. No,
Demon
no.
King.
As the Demon King, no. I mean, they faced each other like that recently, but not as the Demon King. And I think, like for me, I really feel like they they should push Finn and they should allow Finn to take the title off of them. But I don't know if they're going to do that. Maybe if they do it as the Demon, it kind of gives them the out to be able to say, "Hey, it's the
Exactly.
Demon, Finn." But I don't know if they'll do it. But I certainly hope Sami Zayn doesn't win because I don't want to see Sami Zayn versus CM Punk again. I don't.
Because
I,
CM
I
Punk's
just
gonna
like to
win.
kind of
So
Yeah, it's like I don't want to go down that road, but we might. We'll find out tonight. We'll find out tonight. And then the main event was a Hell in the Cell with Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. Very long introductions, very long walkouts. Took a huge amount of time there. I think it was like 13 minutes of
Mhm.
just intro. So we got about 17 minutes of a Hell in the Cell match. And this thing was, it was really good. It was what you kind of come to expect in terms of like the two monsters attacking each other. You had Oba no selling 3 German suplexes and then just throwing Lesnar out of the ring. They're hitting each other with stairs, throwing each other. Lesnar got thrown through a table, kind of battering rammed through a table that was set up. It was. I will say this though. I feel like the Hell in the Cell match for me has lost a lot of its oomph and its luster because nobody's throwing each other off the top of the cell ever again. Like there's certain ones that when you kind of compare them to like historical Hell in a Cell, so like the Mick Foley ones, where he obviously the first one was bananas and very very dangerous, and then he had the one with Triple H when he was Cactus Jack, where they had gimmicked the ring to break, where he did the flip and you
Mm.
could tell the like he hit the cage and then the ring broke, but they had gimmicked all that so that wasn't as dangerous. But you don't see stuff like that. Nobody ever gets out of the cell, climbs to the top, smashes through anymore.
Yeah.
So it's basically just a no holds barred or a no DQ match inside of a cage is all it really is now. So it's like for me, it's not really special in that way. But this was really good, and I think they tried to mix it up by having Brock rip off the canvas from the and expose all the floorboards. And then he hit a tombstone. He kind of to Undertaker tribute, hit a tombstone pile driver on Oba on the board, the exposed boards, and then crossed his arms over to do like the Undertaker pin. Oba kicked out of it, and then Oba hit him with the fall from grace. But I think he was supposed to hit him with the fall from grace on the exposed
I think he
boards,
was
and he
because
just kind
Brock,
of
when he
missed it.
fell, Brock kind of looked over like, shoot.
Right? Yeah,
He was like,
because I think that
shoot.
was supposed to be the whole like, it's going to be so devastating because he's going to hit him on the exposed area, and he didn't. He just dropped him on the padded area and missed it. But he got the 1, 2, 3, and then basically the end was Brock Lesnar kind of putting Obafemi over as the future, and so that's this. This is done, I think, and I think it's the right way to do it. They've had their 3 matches. It didn't really come out as like a retirement match for Lesnar. I mean, I know this is his hometown, and people were talking about like, is he going to retire? And it didn't really have that definitive like retirement conclusion to it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I feel like
I
it
feel like
probably is time for him to hang it up, but
I think he is retiring. I think that's Paul Heyman had, when he gave the contract to when he gave the contract, he was saying that it was a one time match or
mm,
something like that. So
yeah,
who knows? Maybe that's what he means by that. It felt like a retirement match at the end because he was put essentially passing the torch, literally passing the
yeah,
torch to Oba.
100%. Yeah,
He had nothing but great things to say about Oba, which I think was phenomenal on Brock's part, and I think that's great. And also, if you listen to the post match interview that Obafemi did, he kind of insinuated that Brock Lesnar is going to retire because he said, Brock Lesnar is a human being. He's now going to get to go be a dad, go fishing, go hunting, go do whatever you want. Now you've earned that, and you've earned my respect. So it's one of those very nice gesture, returning the
yeah,
favor. He wasn't expecting the hug or the putting over the torch passing, which was very good on Brock Lesnar to do because Brock Lesnar's always been about the business. Him and Undertaker have shared that sentiment of like they do business properly. They don't try and like burn bridges, burn people. They just say, "Oh yeah, it's time." He's the new he's the new one to go through now, and I think that put Obafemi in such a high spot now. So I enjoyed this match. I knew it wasn't going to be long because I mean Brock is a phenomenal athlete, but just going like for example the match prior went what it went like almost 30 minutes, 29 minutes 43 seconds. There's no way in hell you could do a Hell in a Cell match as a
no.
part timer for 30 minutes. I mean,
That's why I
they're
was
running out
like,
of
I thought,
spots.
man, we're gonna get half an hour because there was like half an hour left. I was like,
Yeah,
this is
I
like a
thought the
30-minute
same
match.
thing. I was
And then
like,
by the time
dang.
they got through all the intros, I was like, oh, it's 17. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, whew. But you know what? It was good. I enjoyed it, and yeah, I loved it. I love that this is just Oba's time now. So let's see what they do with Oba Femi now. So I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and a good way to close out the show. So like I said, night one mixed bag. We'll see how night two goes. At this point, I'm just gonna say it does feel like Seth's going over. And I heard on his entrance to the arena, he was wearing his old Shield mask when he was with the Shield. So he was wearing that when he walked into the intro when he did the
Nice.
intros today. So maybe we'll get is John Moxley still with the AEW officially? Is he still under contract?
I believe so. Let me.
If we'll see a John Moxley sighting because they showed him in a lot of the hype packages.
Yeah, he's
They stopped acting
contracted
like
through
he doesn't exist.
October
Okay,
2027.
so okay, yeah, then he's not going to be there because they kind of people were kind of speculating, are we going to see John Moxley back? And it was like, no, if he's under contract, we won't. AEW's not going to let him out, so that'll be that. But it'll be interesting to see. We'll see how the rest of the matches play out. We'll see who the interim women's champion. I hope to God it's Chelsea Green, but I know she's not going to win that match. But it would be so cool if she wins. And the funny thing is, I almost feel like there's a chance because you're just the interim. You're not the official one. They haven't unified it.
True.
So I could see her winning as an interim champion and then going
Yeah.
on to lose against Rhea Ripley. But so it would be a cool moment if she got to be the interim women's or WWE champion. So we'll see how this all goes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Let's see.
that's
I'm
what
curious. So
yeah. And that's what we got for night one of SummerSlam. What was your favorite match, or what was your favorite moment, or what was a moment that you just wish you could have done, or you could have totally done without? Leave it in the comments. We always love to hear from everybody, and that's what we've got. We'll be back for SummerSlam night two as soon as we can. Probably Monday is how it'll work out. But until then, I've been Michael D'Angelo. He's been El Comandante Daryl Ortiz. Have a great week, everyone.